Next scenario, Chase and Ella. The title is, This Was a Dog of a Date.
I don't want to date a guy who kissed their dog and they're like tongue, like French kissing, like,
Ew, who does that?
Yeah, who does that?
I've seen that where they're like, come here, honey. And then the dog is like
licking their face and their tongue.
like-
yeah. Yep.
and they're like, "Ah." And then they're like,
I don't like that either.
Welcome to the Real and Relatable podcast, where no topic is off limits. We're the girlfriends that keep it real and give you different perspectives, because we know one way isn't always the right way.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Real and Relatable podcast. I'm Ma.
I'm Elsie. This is Dolce Vita.
my name is Cash.
And before we get started, please remember to like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so that you know when our episodes are dropping. In today's episode, we're going to do something a little bit different. So there's a morning show that I listen to. It's based out of Dallas. It's called Hawkeye in the Morning, but the segment that I'm talking about is called Second Date Update. So what happens is these people go on dates, and after the date, they never hear from the person again. So they essentially get ghosted. So what they do is they call this radio show, and what they want to do is basically find out what happened. And if they do, let's say sometimes there's a misunderstanding, and if they want to go on a second date, the show will pay for the second date.
It's pretty funny. I've listened to a few episodes with her.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of read off the scenario for you guys, but I'll link the episodes in our description. So if you want to listen to the episode itself, you can. It's only like a 5 to 6 minute episode, but I'll read it off to you guys. I want to get your reaction on whether you would have ghosted or not in this situation.
Okay.
Okay. So first one, Darlene and Clint. It's called the grilling date. So Darlene calls into the radio station. She tells them about that they met online. They went on a dinner date. She said they had a great time. So she's really confused about what happened. And then they generally ask on the show, did anything go wrong? Mm-hmm. And she's like, no, we ran into some friends. When, my sister was there. I thought it would be cool that, he'd meet them, right? So they call Kent. They get Kent on the line. And his side of the story is, this is the weirdest date I've ever been on. He goes, it wasn't running into her friends. He was like, it felt like it was planned.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I can see that, like why he might feel that way.
Yeah. And he's like, she didn't tell me that we were meeting up with her friends. And I thought that we were just going to go to dinner. And she was like, hey, let's go to this bar, grab drinks or whatever. So he's like, sure, why not? So he gets there. And of course, her friends and the sister's there. And at first he was just kind of like, okay, fine, whatever. But then turns out they started grilling him. So they were asking him questions like, what are your intentions? What's your dating history? When was your last girlfriend? And so he just felt like after that date, he just didn't want to go on the date anymore. Like his words were, it felt like it was a tribunal. Like he was being grilled. They do always ask if he's okay with them bringing her on and they can talk about it like together. And he said, sure, why not? So she goes and she defends her actions. She goes, okay, yeah, we were meeting online, so I was just trying to be safe. I don't know, there's a lot of weirdos out there, so I just want to make sure that, this guy isn't a weirdo, And so Kent's like, that's fine, I get it that there's weirdos, but they were literally like grilling me, asking me about my dating history. He goes, this is our first date. He goes, shouldn't you be asking me those things? Mm-hmm. But she went on the defense like, no, we do this all the time.
Oh my!
But like maybe that's why it's not working out for her.
No, she claims
she's still single.
She claims that it's a foolproof. It's foolproof that she was like, oh, we went to the bathroom, we talked about you, and you know what? Everyone likes you, and everyone said that I should continue on the date. So then I did.
No.
She goes, sometimes when we meet other guys and they're like, no, you should skip on the date, and I dip on the date. She goes, I'm just trying to be safe, and I just want my friends to vet him for me.
Oh God,
that's not being safe. That's crazy.
So do you think he was justified in ghosting her?
Yep.
Yeah.
She's crazy.
It's too much.
She's crazy. You don't do that. Like,
okay, if I went
not natural.
if I went on a date with a guy, like let's say he's like, oh, let's
and
go
his girl
bowling.
best friend there.
well, I don't know, but if he's like, let's go bowling, we go, and then, oh my gosh, what a coincidence! My best friend is here, and my mom, and my dad, and my uncles, and
Oh my God,
you know,
yeah, you
I would be like, is there
Like,
is it
you're
really
weird. I'd
is
be
it-
like, you're weird.
Is it really a coincidence, or this is too much?
Yeah.
I guess too much.
He did say that too. He's like, it's really weird. Like,
So weird.
Why would you
Yeah.
do that? She was like, no, I'm just trying to be safe, and I just want to make sure that I'm not wasting my time.
She's weird.
I was like, but that's why you go on dates, to find out about people and figure out if you are going to be wasting your time or not. But I feel like, how poor of a judge of character are you that you can't vet people yourself?
Yeah.
You know,
I think that's weird. I don't. There's no other word to describe actions like that.
So the guy was right on.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
Right on.
yeah.
It's very strange.
I think the thing is that, fine, if you met somebody and you weren't sure about it, fine, have your girlfriends meet you at the restaurant, but don't come up to the table and say hi and stuff like that. If you want them in like a different table and they're just looking out for you to make sure that he doesn't like put shit in your drink and stuff like that, that's fine. But don't have them come meet him and then start grilling him, asking him about but if you just want for safety reasons, you just want them there.
Well, first
Without
of
him,
all,
that's fine.
I think she's probably a terrible person because I mean, maybe
why is she-
I'm the opposite
why is she
because
a terrible person?
I do stay in the date the full time. I never dip out, even if I don't if I don't have a connection.
Yeah.
Yes.
For her to say, if they don't like him or if something is off, then I just dip out. It means you're a terrible person to begin with.
Yeah.
And so you're putting these extreme measures in instead of really allowing chemistry and allowing things to naturally happen and getting to know this person naturally. Like, I don't know. It's just too weird.
Yeah, why does she have the advantage of getting her whole family there to say yes or no? If no, they all dip out on him.
Yeah.
If yes,
That's just
then
rude.
yeah. If yes, then they all get to grill him.
Yeah.
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 Well, they grilled him
especially
there.
on a first date.
Yeah,
first date.
It's
not
very
fair.
strange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Strange behavior.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like if you go on a date and you don't feel safe, then fine, leave the date. That's fine. I mean, you're allowed to do that.
Yep.
Don't dip out because your friends don't like him and they're like,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So we say ghosting is justified.
Yep.
Okay. Next scenario. Chase and Ella. The title is "This Was a Dog of a Date." And I feel like you might relate to this Mo, because you have a dog.
I have a dog, and I've been out on dates with people
Dog
brought
dads.
their day
Yeah.
dogs.
Oh.
Okay, so here's the story. It was Chase. Chase calls in and he says they met online. They had a really nice date. It was a nice day outside, so they decided to go to a restaurant that had a patio so that they can enjoy the weather. They usually ask, did anything go wrong? And he said none that he can think of. They had a great time outside enjoying the weather. They get Ella on the phone and she says, yes, it was a nice day. It was a good weather. All of that is true. And they had a good conversation. But she said he brought his dog to the restaurant on the date. Mm-hmm. It was a dog-friendly restaurant, so it was like a dog-friendly patio or whatever. But she said his dog was just not ready to be at a pet-friendly restaurant. His dog was wandering all over the restaurant, getting entangled in chairs and tables. She said it was just a complete mess.
Wow.
Yeah.
People are so delusional, aren't they?
It gets better.
Yeah.
And then so they're like, well, sometimes, people don't realize that. So they're like, was it really that bad? Mm-hmm. And she goes, yes, it was so bad. She goes, at one point, Chase took his dog outside the restaurant because, his dog had to do his business. And he went right outside the patio and his dog did his business basically right in front of everybody.
Oh my goodness.
So like everyone's eating and basically watching his dog do his business. And so they're like, okay, we get it. And so he comes on and he's like,
What if his dog couldn't hold it? Should we judge the dad?
no, but you don't have to do it right outside the patio. Like you can.
You should have walked him down
Yeah.
down the street. down the
Yeah.
block.
What if he's just like, oh, my stomach hurts?
The dog.
The dog's like diarrhea.
I mean, sometimes the dog can't hold it.
Yeah.
You know,
If
but
the dog couldn't hold it, then
yeah.
I don't blame the dog. Should we judge the dad for that? Unless the dad let the dog go right in front
It
of
sounds like
people.
that's what he did.
Yeah. He just let him go. And so he comes on. So they come on the line together. And he's like, he's surprised because she said, because it's just a dog. And he says that she told him that, I think your dog needs more training before you bring him out to like a pet friendly place. And he goes, yeah. He goes, but it wasn't that big of a deal. It's a dog friendly place. I was just trying to get him, acclimated with other dogs and get him like, basically hands-on training, like get him around other dogs. And she goes, yeah, that's fine.
On a date.
But that you train them. She goes, but people were actually complaining about your dog. Like people were going up and complaining about his dog. And he's like, his response to that was, I think those people should just mind their own business because it's just a dog.
Oh my Lord.
That's him getting defensive.
Yeah, he was getting so defensive.
He's delusional.
And he goes, I think it's because you're a cat person. And she goes,
oh my Lord.
and she goes,
Gaslighting the cat person.
so she goes, I love dogs and cats, but yes, I am a little bit more favorable towards cats, but that wasn't the reason. And he goes, I knew it. It was only because you didn't like dogs and you only like cats. She goes, no, that wasn't the reason. The reason is your dog wasn't ready to be out in public around other people. And even if you was trying to train him, you didn't do a really good job about taming him, keeping him with you. Like your dog was like literally getting into other people's business. She's like, no. She goes, I'm just not going to go on another date with you. And that's basically the reason why I ghosted you. So you're a dog person. Would you have ghosted him?
Yeah. Well, first of all, you should not take your dog on a date. But I have gone on dates with a guy who brought his dog. He asked me if he can bring his dog. And I was like, yeah, sure. The first date. And she was very good. She like sat by his side the whole time. He had to kind of, pet her a few times, whatever. But, we were still engaging. So it was a good date. Second date, he had to bring her. Third date, he had to bring her. And I was like, okay, at that point.
So you brought the dog to every date?
Every date. Because he said that she has anxiety when he leaves and she would basically like chew up furniture and destroy the house, So he would always have to bring her. I'm like, okay, so what do you do when you go golfing? Because he golfs.
Good question.
And he's like, oh, yeah, I'll.
Then I'll find someone to watch the dog.
Yeah. I don't remember exactly what he said. Something like put her in her
but you can't do that when you go on a date,
something like that. Yeah,
they pick and choose their battles.
They pick and choose. Yeah.
When it's going to be something you cannot take them golfing with you, so you're gonna
find an alternative. Yeah. But if it's a date, let me ask my date, and if it's okay, then I'll do it. She should be flexible. The dog's gonna be a part of her life anyway if it works out, so she should get used to it.
Yeah.
And no, on dates you shouldn't do that. And I was kind and I was accepting of it, but after the third time I was like, no.
Dang, 3 dates in a row and he okay, I probably would have been like no too. I think the first 2 would have been okay.
Yeah.
But it's like, how many dates are you with your dog?
Are we never gonna have alone time?
Yeah.
Never gonna just be us,
Yeah.
Like just having like that one-on-one and really truly connect, you know?
Yeah. This is coming from a dog owner too.
Yes. And no, the dog needs to be really disciplined. And it seems like this guy's delusional. The dog's completely untrained. And then he had to leave in the middle of the date to like go take the dog out. Like you should not bring a child or a dog on a date at all, to be honest. Like even me being a dog person.
The first 1, 2, 3 dates.
Until you're even official. Yeah. And then you kind of slowly bring the dog into the picture. Yeah.
So I have a question. Do you think it's fair to judge the dog dad based on his dog's behavior?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
How about
like children?
How about children?
Yes.
Yes.
So if you're dating a guy,
we're gonna have so many behaviors.
He's your perfect dream guy. He's everything you've ever wanted, but his dog is a hot mess. Would you? Why? How would you judge him, and why would you judge him? How would you judge him, and is it workable?
I think I would. So there's a few questions. Like, one, how long have you had this dog? Like, if it was a rescue dog and you just had it for like a week and you're still training it, okay, fine. Hot mess. Okay, I get it. They're rescue dogs. They need a little bit of time.
Okay.
But if you had this dog for a few years, even 6 to 12 months, and your dog's a hot mess, not trained, you're just letting it run wild, then. Yeah, I will judge you. Yep. And that's a no.
Yeah. Even if he's the perfect man and he's kind and calm and patient, and his dog is crazy, maybe he's too nice. Maybe he's not just, doesn't have enough discipline, or doesn't discipline the dog enough, or whatever. Then that's also off-putting, right?
Yeah.
'Cause I want a guy who's like balanced.
Okay. So what I'm hearing you say is it's maybe shining the light on certain qualities that he's either lacking or he has that you don't like. Okay, that's interesting. True story. I wasn't in an official relationship with somebody, but we were dating, and he was a dog owner, and it was his dog's birthday, and we went to celebrate the dog's birthday with a dog birthday cake. We went to the dog park, and his dog is crazy, and his dog kept attacking other dogs, and his dog went to an old dog and bit the old dog. And he went there with a dog club, like a Facebook dog club. So they're like doggy clubs for the same dog. And so even the other dog club mamas and dads, dog moms and dog dads, were like kind of judging him because he was not a good dog dad. And then the dog, on top of attacking other dogs and biting the elderly dog, and he had to go talk to the owner in case they want to sue, if the dog dies. It's really serious, it's a liability. But on top of that, he had to pull the dog by the neck multiple times, and the dog also bit his hand.
Oh my god.
It was getting infected. It was getting really poofy. And the dog also bit his leg. And I'm just like, the whole time, like, oh my god,
could be you.
This is bad. And to be honest, I did judge him because I was like, your dog is a reflection of you.
Yep.
And you're so busy that you're not disciplining the dog. The dog doesn't know better. The dog cannot discipline itself.
Yep.
It's a child dog that's growing.
Yeah.
So I would say yes, I can see why, like, if the dog is misbehaved, I may see that as a highlight of who the person is that's raising the dog.
Yeah.
But that's crazy because that dog bit his own owner.
Yeah, he bit the owner twice.
That's dangerous.
And every time I went over, the dog would try to bite me through my jeans and bite my ass, and I'd be like, oh my god. But it's kind of like when your friend's kids misbehave, you don't want to yell at them. The dog was getting at me. I was like, stop it,
But he wouldn't say anything.
He was saying stop, but I just didn't feel good yelling at the dog to get off me and stop biting me. It's like, but it's kind of like
his job.
It's off-putting, like you said. Like my god, this is such a bad experience.
No, no. That's a no.
No bueno.
And that, again, it can be dangerous,
It can be.
Yeah, with the dogs, especially, like, it sounds like a mid-sized big dog, little tiny dog
it's a medium dog. Okay. It's a medium dog. But you're right. What if they bite a toddler?
Yeah.
And then you're in a lawsuit.
Yeah.
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 You don't want to deal with that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Oh, crazy.
Or even biting you, and then you end up in the hospital with stitches and infections and whatever.
That's true.
So that ghosting was justified as well. But would you guys actually ghost though? Or would you be like, hey, we're not compatible?
You know what? The dog guy that I went on 3 dates with, I ghosted.
Okay, so
I didn't have the heart to tell him that it's not appropriate to bring your dog out on every single date.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, because this story, she didn't want to tell him either because clearly he got defensive. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like with children and with dogs, like, people might take things personally. So I didn't say anything to the guy. I just was like, it's not worth it for me.
Oh, okay. So
even though he reached out, I just said, I think we're better off as friends. I didn't give him the reason why. Maybe I should have, and maybe it'll help him later on. But I don't know. I chose not to.
Maybe you shouldn't have because he wouldn't even care.
Maybe
like, he would get defensive too.
Maybe.
Who knows? Who knows?
But you didn't really ghost because you did tell him that you guys are better off.
Yeah. But I didn't say the reason is because you bring your dog to every day. And, because he probably would have said, Well, you agreed to it.
Yes,
You were okay with it.
Of course.
I said okay to it just because I'm being nice, but that you should know better.
Yes.
You know, like I hate that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's maybe I kind of blame myself too. Maybe I should have been direct and said
but
no.
why does it have to be up to you?
Right?
To give grace, like, oh, okay, yes, yes, you can bring them. It's okay.
Maybe you didn't like him enough because maybe
100%.
maybe if you know, because the thing is, if you liked him enough, you'd be like, hey, so for the next date, like let's go watch a movie, or you might work with it and be like, hey, hint, I want time with you, not with the dog.
Yeah.
So if you didn't do that, then that tells me you just didn't like him enough.
Yeah.
It could be like your ex-boyfriend just says that he's not ready all the time.
Huh? What?
Your ex who didn't want Vita over and wasn't ready.
Yes.
He was always not ready.
Always
to meet.
not ready to meet her.
Also another thing, if you own a dog and whoever you're dating doesn't like dogs, probably
Yeah,
that's not gonna work.
Not gonna
Do
work.
you think dog people should just date other dog people?
Yeah.
Well, no, they can date people that don't mind.
Yeah,
you know?
don't mind or love
work
dogs.
with it.
Yeah, but her ex was like a germaphobe of dogs.
Yes, he was like very scared. Yeah, not scared, but like yeah.
It was
Okay, so I do like animals, but I don't want to date a guy who, I've probably mentioned this to you guys before, who kissed their dog and they're like tongue, like French kissing, like
Ew, who does that?
Yeah, who does that?
I've seen that where they're like, come here, honey, and then the dog is like
licking their face and their tongue.
like-
Yeah. Yep.
and they're like, you know, and then they're like,
I don't like that
you
either.
know, and then I'm like, do I kiss you now?
No, yeah, I don't like that either.
I just feel like it's not
Some people do like that.
it's not sanitary. I don't like that.
Yeah.
I googled it because I felt like I was being a jerk.
What did you find out?
That it's not smart. That when you interchange saliva with dogs, like there can be bacteria risk and factors because they might
It's low bacteria
it's low, but you know, but Google, at my research, Google is just saying it's not gonna kill you most likely, but it's not the most sanitary thing.
Well, yeah, it's not. I mean, I don't like that either, but I mean, from what I know, it's low because the transference of virus from animal to human is really low. Like it doesn't do that generally.
I think it just comes off.
It's just weird.
Not.
Yeah.
It's very,
cute.
It's not sanitary. It's not sanitary. I don't.
not attractive.
I don't want to French kiss anyone who French kisses an animal
You know, some people like that.
or even
Some people like
another human.
putting their face up to their dog's face and getting licked.
Yeah,
I don't like
I don't
that.
like that.
Yeah.
I just don't like that. Personal preference, okay, guys. I'm not.
No, guys.
If you do that, I'm not gonna judge you. But would I date you? No.
No, I'll judge you. She won't judge. I'll judge you. Because I do find that disgusting too.
Yeah.
Like I don't mind them like licking your face if you're fine with them licking your
As long as
face.
it's not tongue to tongue.
Yeah, but if they're like
know.
straight up, if your dog's straight up in your mouth, and then you come over and you want to be all up in my mouth or my area, no, that's nasty.
Even when they lick my hand, my own dog licks my hand, I've got to go and wash my hand afterwards. You know, my arms.
So like, what about having sex and the dog is on the bed?
Dog should not be on the bed.
Or in the room. That's like a child in the room. Okay.
I don't know. Do you guys think that's unsanitary?
Yes.
Oh, unsanitary for the dog to be in the bed with you?
Yeah.
While you're
I mean,
having sex.
Yeah, the dog should not be in the bed with you. That's weird. No.
Okay.
In the bed with you? No.
No. Ew. I don't even want them in the room.
Okay.
They are in the room sometimes.
Ew. That's
Sometimes they're just waiting there.
even more.
It is like being watched by a child or
awkward.
by like another.
Don't you feel awkward?
It is weird.
Do you wonder what the dog's thinking?
No, yeah.
I'm sure
They're
the dog knows what
they
goes
know.
on.
They know what's going on, I think.
They mate pretty similar. Similar fashion.
But after a while, they just lay down and sleep. You know,
Going on
once
board.
they're like, oh, I know this person and I know
That's
this
true.
routine.
Yeah, that's true.
At first, they're like, what's happening? And they're watching, right? And then like you know,
After all, they
once
go
they get
take
used to
nap.
this person, they know.
I don't know. I feel like wouldn't be able to focus. I feel like something staring at me.
You have an audience. You better work it.
No, that's even more. I'm like, oh my God. Might as well just put up a camera while you're at it. Sheesh. You would ghost.
Ghost.
You would actually ghost. Okay.
Yeah.
Not send a message, but ghost. Okay. Okay, next story.
I mean, like, if he asked, if he reached out, I would say the same thing. Like, oh, I didn't feel any connection. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. No, based off of these stories, they actually ghost. So like they'll reach out and they didn't hear anything or something like. So that's why they resort to calling a radio station.
Oh,
yeah.
But Elsie made a good point. She said that sometimes she's not sure if she should share that piece because first of all, maybe they don't want to know and grow from it, and they might get defensive because it's like your child, so you might get overly defensive.
Yeah.
As a dog dad or dog mom, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm not the kind of person to ghost. If somebody reaches out, then I will always give an answer. I will always say, oh, yeah, you know, same thing. We're better just friends. I didn't feel any chemistry.
Except for
sorry.
that one guy who like blew up on you after you responded.
Oh, yeah. What?
Remember he reached out. There was a guy you went on a date with.
Okay.
I think one or two times. And he reached out to you, and I think you just forgot to respond. And then by the time you remember to respond, you're like, oh, you know, it's too late to respond. So then he reached back out again and basically was like, that's rude of you to not respond. You're basically ghosting me. Do you not remember that?
Yeah, that was so long ago. How do you remember these things? It was like a random date.
I remember because he literally like went off on you for like ghosting him.
Oh, yes, that guy.
Yeah.
He was like, that is so immature.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, damn.
I'm like, see, this is why you ghost, because you're going to get people like that who get all but hurt.
Yeah. You didn't do it on purpose though, right?
I think she...
I kind of did.
Oh, you
yeah. I kind of had a feeling he had that kind of personality that would go off in the first place, right?
Bitter.
Yes, butthurt, bitter. So that's why I didn't respond. And then he texted again. So then I was like, okay, let me be gracious, you know, and and respond. And so when he saw me respond, he blew up on me.
Okay.
He took the opportunity to blew up on me.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, you know, we're both adults. You should be more mature than that. You should have responded the first time. And yeah, you know, give me that, you know, adult answer.
Is this mean guy?
No.
No.
Different guy. Yeah.
It's like, gosh.
Different guy. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, ugh, this is what I get for trying to ghost somebody for the first time.
Why is he being such a baby? Does he want you to change his diaper
right?
too? Jeez.
It's not your thing.
Finally, I'm like, you know, I mean, this kind of is what happens in online dating, you know, like when people don't feel connection, they may just not answer. And I hope you understand that. I was like explaining to him what ghosting is, you know. You
know what? You're too nice.
It usually means that, you know, there was no connection.
You're way too nice.
Very.
I would have been like, this is why I didn't respond in the first place. But yeah. Okay. Next story. Clint and Tanya. The title is He Paid for Not Getting Paid. You guys will probably like this one.
Gosh, I don't know what that means.
Okay, so Clint calls in. So it's the guy. He calls in because... So he met Tanya through an old college friend. Basically, they were out one night and she was part of the friend group and he knew like one of the guys that was in that friend group. So he got the number from the friend and they went out to dinner. He said they had a great time and they even ended the night with, I'll call you. And she was like, yeah. And then after that, he never heard anything. They asked him if anything went wrong. He's like, nothing that he can think of because he goes, in his mind, everything was picture perfect. They call Tanya. They finally get her online on the phone. She goes, yeah, we did go on a date. She goes, we did have a good time. But when the waitress came and put the check on the table, Clint goes and says, oh, I don't get paid until next Friday. Can you pick up the tab and I'll get the next one?
Man, no.
And so Hawkeye, who's the guy who like he's the main guy. He starts laughing. He goes, "Are you making this up?" And she goes, "No." She goes, "I really wish I was making this up, but that's what he said."
Oh my goodness.
And she was like, it's not that. She goes, "It's not that I don't mind. I don't mind paying, but if you're asking me out, knowing that you don't have money to pay for the date." then that's kind of
weird.
awkward and rude, you know?
Yeah,
Like, he could have picked a different date, but he picked that date that he didn't have money. So anyways, so then they get him on the phone. So they're on the phone together now. And he goes, what? I'm confused because when the check came and I said that, there was no hesitation on your part to be like, oh, I got it, I'll pay for it. And she goes, yeah, because I didn't want to make it awkward and weird, you know? And then she's like, if you didn't get paid until next Friday, then why didn't you just wait until next Friday to ask me out?
Plan the date for that.
Yeah,
next
and she goes, you know, and it's not even that. She goes, even if you plan the date next Friday, she goes, and you wanted to go Dutch, I would have been completely okay with that too. But you literally asked me out on this date. You didn't have money, knowing you didn't have money. He got mad. He goes, no, you're just being judgmental. He goes, I think you're just mad because you couldn't use me like all these other girls to get a free meal. I'm like, oh, he went down that path.
Oh my goodness. Oh.
Okay, sounds like a bitter guy who is incompetent.
No, but I get her point. Like, her point was, you know what? It's not even like about the money. Like, well, kind of. It's, if you know you don't have the money, then why did you ask me out on the date?
Right.
Like, if you knew that your money wasn't going to come in until next Friday, then wait until then. Because I get it. Sometimes, I mean, because they don't give ages of these people. So for all I know, they could be college kids, right? Fine. When you're in college, you're probably running paycheck to paycheck.
That makes sense because you have no sense at that time either.
Yeah, but then wait until you have money then. Like, why are you asking me out when you don't have money?
He clearly has no common sense. But doesn't really understand kind of like the rules of dating.
Yeah.
Rules, guys.
But then he doubled down by saying, oh, you're just one of the girls who wants to get free meals. I'm like, why are you going to double down now?
Gaslighting her again.
Yeah.
And to like, it's her, she's the problem.
Yeah.
You know?
And so she goes,
He doesn't have the right sense.
Yeah. So she goes, well, not this girl. I'm not trying to use you for a free meal, clearly, because I already said I paid for it and I already said I don't mind going Dutch. She goes, because, you know, I do have money, you know, and he goes, well, if you have money, then what's the big deal? Like,
oh my goodness.
like, why is
the big deal is that you're a man and we have certain expectations from a man, at minimum Dutch.
Yeah, I would have ghosted him too. You know what? I probably would have paid because I can't just dip out on.
I would have paid just because I would feel bad.
What if the girl's like, oh my god, me too. I'm getting paid next week. I thought you got it.
Yeah.
Should we go back to the back and wash the dishes now?
Dine and dash then, I guess. I don't know. You know what? Maybe girls should start using that line. I ain't got money either.
Wash the dishes time.
Yeah.
I'm good at washing the dishes. I can do that.
Yeah. By 3 hours worth of dishwashing.
Yeah.
I personally think that if you're going out on a date as a guy, you should definitely pay the first date at least the first date. If you don't have the means, do something else within your ability.
Yeah. And if the girl doesn't like those coffee dates that you want to bring them on, that's not the girl you should be dating. Yep. that clears that up already.
Yep.
And don't sit and complain about girls not wanting to go on coffee dates. Don't date those girls.
Yeah. And vice versa, girls. If a guy asks you out to somewhere that, you know, is below your expectation, then don't say yes. And then don't make them feel bad about it. And then don't, you know, like have your own.
Be kind about it. Be kind about it. Because, you know, like people struggle.
Okay. Last one. Okay. Trevor and Lauren. The title's a little weird. I feel like the title doesn't really go with the story, but the title is called The Mystery Man from Out of Town. The name is Trevor. He calls the radio station. They met online. They went out to dinner. He thought they had a great time because she was genuine. She was open. They talked about going out again. And he said that she seemed like she was really into it, like into going out again. So they get Lauren on the line and she goes, yes, we did have a good time. But after the date, she did some investigative post-date Instagram look. And she's like, oh, at first he was really hard to find. But then when she did find him, she found out that he was married And and
Okay.
and Hawkeye and them was like, "Are you sure?" She goes, "I'm pretty sure."
Why is he calling
Why is he
a
calling
radio
it-
show?
Yeah. Why
Wait,
not
wait,
go
hold on. She goes, she's pretty sure because there's pictures of a family trip of him and his wife and his kids. And so they bring him on and they're like, so like, are you married? And he's like, no, I'm not. He goes, I have kids and I have an ex-wife. And then he went, of course, you know, they always double down. He goes, I'm a little off put that you went online stalking. He goes, that's invading my privacy. And she goes, it's a public Instagram profile, so not invading your privacy.
Yeah.
And so anyways, so he's like, I have a kid and I have an ex-wife. We're co-parenting. He goes, I don't want to be absent from my kid's life because, you know, I believe in co-parenting. And he goes, what would you want me to do? Like not be there for them? And she was like, the co-parenting involves kissing your ex-wife on the cheek in a recently posted family trip photo. Then sure, that's co-parenting. And he
No, that's wrong.
And he goes, no, that's my ex-wife. He goes, you know, we didn't have one of those devastating breakups. So he goes, we just actually have a really healthy relationship. And so we take these trips together. And so radio host Hawkeye was like, so you kiss your ex-wife?
kiss?
And he goes, well, you know,
even
I was
touch.
just leaning over to kiss her on the cheek, you know.
Why?
And they're like, and so Hawkeye, so he tried to defend him. He was like, okay, how can he be married if he's calling a radio station, which everyone in the whole Dallas area would hear, that he's calling a radio station for a second date. And so Lauren, the girl, actually goes, no, I actually found out that he's from out of town. He doesn't live in Dallas.
Oh, wow.
He actually lives somewhere else.
Oh, wow.
And that he travels for work. And that's how she met him, because he was traveling to Dallas at that time. And so then he got even more defensive, like, oh, yes, of course, I travel for work because, you know, I have a good job or whatever. And then so he got mad. He goes, I'm telling you, this is my ex-wife, blah, blah, blah. And so she's like, fine, if this is truly your ex-wife, then let me talk to her.
Yep.
And he goes,
Call her right now.
yeah, she's like,
Get her on the phone.
yeah, that's what she said. She goes, let me talk to her. Let me really find out that's your ex-wife. And he said, no, now you're just being weird.
Oh.
I was like, being weird, or she's accurate that you're actually married.
Yeah.
So she was like,
Something is off.
He continues to put everything on her as if she's the one who, I don't know, he's delusional.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's kind of like, okay, so you claim that she's your ex-wife, but you go on family trips together, you kiss her on your photos, they're recent, and then you're trying to tell this girl that, you know, wants to make sure she's safe to be with you, that she's the one who's crazy.
yeah,
It's
that she's the one stalking him online.
Yeah, it's delusional, and it's gaslighting her and everybody else.
He's definitely confused. He wants his cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
He's willing to call a radio show, so that means he likes her enough, but he's still in an awkward place with his ex-wife where he is still trying to make
Do you
it
think
work.
it was an awkward place, or do you think I think he's married.
Why would he call a public radio station? I think I think he's still trying to make something happen with his ex wife, but also seeing which way things happen first.
Oh, so
you know what I mean?
He has one foot in each door.
Yeah, exactly.
One foot in and one foot out.
That's what I think is going on.
I agree with you, Elsie, because the thing is, there's a lot of men out there. My ex, when I asked him, have you ever cheated on anybody before that you've ever been with? You know what he said?
Oh my God, what was his answer?
I know. What?
He said, yeah, I mean, I've cheated, but we were already basically broken up anyway.
What's basically?
I know. Basically, he had one foot in, one foot out. And it's kind of like when a guy wants a reason to fuck around.
Yeah.
Like, he'll say, well, we're not really together anyway, so I can date other people. But does she know that? It's
But-
in his head, they're not really together anymore. But it's not a mutual agreed upon thing. And those guys are losers who will say things to excuse their actions and not be held accountable.
But honestly, this reminds me of one of the episodes that we did where MB said that she is still kind of 1 foot in her old relationship, and then she starts talking to somebody else to give her the courage to leave the old relationship.
No, that was me. That wasn't MB. That
Oh,
was me.
both of you guys, I think.
Well, no, I think she said she understood where I was coming
Yeah.
from, but that was me. But yeah.
So that's you.
Yeah, that was me.
So you're
why-
that person. Who
Yeah, that's why.
can
That's
help
why
out.
that's why when you was like basically, I was like, I know what basically means because I use that too. I have used that basically too.
But that's the
I
thing.
don't
It's like,
do
okay,
that.
so
Yeah.
so you're saying it's like fucked up. You're saying
no, it is. Yeah.
You're saying, okay, well, my partner doesn't know that I consider us broken up, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna fuck around and date other people and sleep with other
Yeah.
people. Because in
Until
my
I'm
in my
mentally
head-
ready to.
yeah, 'cause in my head we're basically not together.
Yeah.
But she doesn't know that, or the other partner doesn't know that.
Right.
Yeah.
You made the decision on your own, and
Yep.
that's very selfish.
Yeah.
Wait,
I
for
agree.
for the record, I was never dating somebody and then dating someone else too. I honestly think he's still married, especially because he doesn't live in town.
Yeah.
So the chances of her finding out about this is probably very rare, unless you're on TikTok, unless you're on.
But why would he call a national radio station?
It's
though?
not national. It's Dallas.
I mean, or even local, or even.
Yeah.
Why
No,
would you put yourself out there like that in
Well,
public?
because
It's not like his face is plastered on the news.
yeah.
You know, it's just a phone call.
It's just a local.
using
It's
his
just a
real
local
legal
radio
name.
station. Because what are the chances of you listening to KDWB from Minnesota? 0.
and it's just a voice.
Yeah.
I still think it's weird. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, so the story ends with him getting upset and saying she's weird, and he hung up.
Oh my goodness.
so clearly he's in the wrong, but
I don't think he's still married. If you're
Really?
gonna call a public radio station, you're not still.
I think he's in a
married.
situation.
He is in a situation.
He's not fully divorced.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not fully divorced, and he's
Yeah.
not sure, and he's not
Yeah,
he's not ready
exactly.
and willing to let go of his ex.
Exactly.
okay, we have to recognize these situationships are actually relationships as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're relationships, and the guy is in denial.
Mhm.
He's in
Yep.
denial.
Yep.
Yeah.
He is. A lot of people are when they're confused.
Yeah.
Yes.
They don't know what they want. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't know if you guys heard of the saying. There's a saying. Someone said it. He's like, a man does not need to lie to a woman, because if a woman loves you or likes you enough, she will lie to herself.
Oh my gosh, that is so sad.
Yeah, it is sad, and it can be true.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's true
Yeah.
because
It's true.
because when you really like a guy, or you're really in love with this guy, you do lie to yourself, like, oh no, he's not cheating on me, or oh no, he's not texting another girl, or no, he doesn't really like the other girl. You know, that's all lies
Yeah.
to tell
Or
yourself.
when you're-
he's over his ex.
Yep.
yeah.
Maybe he's not.
Yeah.
Or oh no, they are divorced.
Maybe they're not.
yeah.
It-
Yeah.
blaring red flags, your intuition, your everything's going off, and you're just ignoring everything.
You should know better.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I would have ghosted in that situation too. I would have ghosted and never responded as well.
Yep.
But my question is, I know you ghosted because we talked about your story.
I tried to
and-
ghost, and it blew up in my face.